Hi, everyone. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I'm LaRita. I'm an attorney. And today I'm going to talk to you about the new spending bill that would allow veterans easier access to firearms. And before you say, well, I thought veterans had access anyway, this is limited to a particular set of veterans who have been previously declared incompetent to handle their VA finances and manage their finances. This pertains to them. There were some restrictions that came when a veteran was found incompetent, and now the new spending bill that is before the Congress allows veterans to not have that restriction from having access. Is this a good idea or not? Let's get right into it. So I'm going to share my screen with you so that we can actually see what I'm talking about, and then you can let me know what you think about it. If you are watching and you are a veteran, I say this in all my videos. If you're new here, let me know in the comment section which branch of the military you serve: Navy, Army, Air Force, Coast Guard, and Marine. And I think the new one was Space Force. I was saying that that's a new branch of the military. Let me know if you are part of that active duty or a veteran from that particular branch of the military. But let me go ahead and share my screen with you so you can see what I'm referring to, and then we can get right into it. Let me make sure you can see. And if you're watching this on your phone, sometimes I've heard that it's helpful to turn your phone sideways so that you can see the writing that I'm reading a little bit easier. So this is as of yesterday. Spending bill would ease access to guns for some veterans declared mentally incapable. And it says would have easier access to firearms under spending legislation expected to be signed by President Joe Biden in the coming days. A reversal of current law that Republicans and even some Democrats have been pushing for years. Those lawmakers say the law requiring the Department of Veterans Affairs to report that veterans declared mentally competent to the National Background Check System punishes those who rely on benefits from the agency and may need help managing their money. But gun control advocates say the law is an important tool in protecting against suicides by those who have served in the military. Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy, a Democrat, said the change could result in thousands of mentally ill people having increased access to guns, a death sentence for many. He posted on X, formerly known as Twitter. The spending bill provision comes as gun control advocates have scored modest wins in recent years. Congress passed a sweeping law in 2022 that would expand some background checks for people under 21 and provide new mental health services for children in schools, among other measures. While several Republicans reported that legislation, though, sometimes some Democrats have supported the change in VA policy, including Senate Veterans Affairs Committee Chairman Jon Tester, a Democrat from Montana. Tester, who also sits on the Senate Appropriations Committee, has been pushing to reverse the law for several years, arguing that many veterans won't collect their benefits at all because they're afraid that guns will be taken away. It's flat wrong that a DC bureaucrat could take away a veteran's legal right to firearms simply because they need assistance managing their finances. All right, I'm going to stop sharing the screen right now. And as I mentioned before, this is not limited to all veterans. What happens is I see this come up when veterans are rated 100% for a single disability. A lot of times it's triggered on those mental health disability benefits questionnaires, DBQs. At the bottom of the DBQ, it'll ask the examiner, is this veteran capable of managing their finances? If the examiner checks no and explains why, it triggers the RO to do some investigation about whether the veteran needs a fiduciary to help him or her manage their finances. Typically, the veteran has 60 days to reply and provide some medical evidence that shows that he or she is actually able to manage their finances. If they're not able to rebut the initial examiner's conclusion that they are not capable of managing their finances, then they'll declare incompetent for the purposes of managing VA finances. Not incompetent overall, but just for managing the benefits that come, the compensatory benefits that come from having VA benefits. So then they are appointed a fiduciary who actually acts as the agent and they receive the benefits and then helps the veteran pay the bills as needed so they don't become homeless or the like, or spending on things that are not like drugs or anything of that matter. When they actually declare them incompetent, RO also has to notify the veteran that they're not able to own any firearms or possess any firearms under the Brady Law. And the Brady Law, and I'll get back into that in the detail, the Brady Law was from 1993. It was a law that made a requirement for background checks to prevent violence with guns. Now, whether it's been effective, that's to be determined, right? Because this is 1993 that it was passed, and we still see gun violence is prevalent in the United States now. So whether that's effective or not is to be debated. And also whether a veteran whether there's a correlation between whether a veteran can't pay his or her bills and should not have firearms. I'm not sure if there's an exact correlation, which is what the other representative brought up. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Do you think there's a correlation? Do you think that veterans who have been declared mentally incompetent to manage their finances should have access? On one hand, one side is saying that, hey, this is going to prevent veterans who may be mentally ill from having access to firearms and committing suicide, because there, are suicide rates in veterans who experience, let's say, mental health disabilities. On the other hand, like I said, there may not be any correlation between not being able to pay their bills and owning firearms. This spending bill, and it always comes down to money, right? This spending bill is allowing to ease the burden of veterans not having access if they are declared mentally incompetent for handling finances. I want to know what you think in the comment section, because I'm not a veteran, but I do help veterans. And I want to know, as a veteran, how do you feel about the ability to have it infringed upon? Or you may have witnessed somebody who you said they shouldn't have been able to own a firearm because they had some problems. And as a result, you may have lost somebody that was near and dear to you. I'm in Texas, where I've done a video before where Texas has stripped a lot of the restrictions on even obtaining handguns, and it doesn't have any correlation to people who want to have handguns. Any laws, I don't think, will prevent them from having it, but it basically is like open season out here in Texas, right? Everybody can have one. It's almost like, you don't have one, what's the problem? Everybody has one, and it's not illegal to have one, whereas in another state it may be. Is there a difference between having a law? Because a lot of times criminals, that's the whole point. They don't abide by the law. So whether the law is in place or not, they'll find a way to have access to those particular items. So let me share the screen with you before I sign off. And I do want to know what you think about it. The Brady Law that I referred to. And I tried to summarize it. Hopefully you can see it. And like I said, turn your screen to the side, on the side if you can't see it. It says, on November 30th, 1993, the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act was enacted, amending the Gun Control Act of 1968. The Brady Law imposed an interim measure of a waiting period of 5 days before a licensed importer, manufacturer, or dealer may sell, deliver, or transfer a handgun to an unlicensed individual. The waiting period applies only in states without an acceptable alternate system of conducting background checks on handgun purchasers. The interim provision of the Brady Law became effective on February 28, 1994, and ceased to apply on November 30th, 1998. While the interim provision of the Brady Law applied only to the handguns, the permanent provision of the Brady Law applied to all firearms. So I know we are a country of, like, we have the right to bear arms. And, if you're a veteran, you may feel like that is not right for them to have anything infringed upon that, but trying to weigh the interests of the public versus the interests of the individual. Let me know what you think. But that's what I'm reporting in regards to that. And as I mentioned before, there are ways that you can, if you are a veteran who had that come up, like I said, oftentimes it comes up in the context of 100% rated disability, single disability, or even SMC, so special monthly compensation when you need aid in attendance or housebound. It comes up in those contexts because on the DBQ is specifically asked those things, whereas on other disability DBQs, that question does not arise on the DBQ unless it's like brought out within the interview with the veteran and the clinician documents that. So let me know what you think in the comment section, and let me know if there's any other topics you would like me to discuss in future videos. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, share it with somebody who you think that it may be beneficial to, and I'll see you in the next video.